The Bernie Sanders campaign has been releasing plan after plan after plan, and they have another one, the Workplace Democracy Plan. Now, before I even get into the details on this, so this is a plan that looks to strengthen unions and improve wages and strengthen benefits, and really the attempt is to positively impact workers all across the country. But it needs to be said here, even if you're not in a union, this will have a positive impact on you. So a lot of people think, hey, I'm not in a union, so this plan for unions here doesn't impact me. But it does. As I'm going to show you, during the decline of unions, it coincided with the decline of wages across the board, even for non-union members. And when unions are strong, wages are strong. So data from the Economic Policy Institute shows that union membership experienced its highest growth between 1935 and 1945. And this is also when the share of income became more equitable between the top 10% and everyone else. Again, these are largely non-union members in the share of income here. Then, as union membership declined between the 1960s till now, you see a clear increase in the share of income going to the top 10%. And there's an obvious explanation for this. When unions are strong, non-union workplaces are trying to compete with those unionized workplaces. So they'll try to compete with stronger wages, trying to match the union wages or trying to match the union benefits. So when unions are strong, it has a positive impact on the entire economy, not just people that are in unions. And it actually goes even farther than that. Politically and culturally, strong unions establish formal and informal rules governing labor conditions, make the case for a fairer share of working men and women, and rally political support for labor-friendly policies. Indeed, minimum wages tend to be higher in more organized states compared to states where organized labor is weaker. Unions have been vocal supporters of recent various efforts to raise the minimum wage. For instance, the Service Employees International Union has spent tens of millions of dollars on the Fight for 15 movement, pressuring cities like Seattle and New York City to adopt a $15 per hour minimum wage, and yielding pay raises for over 8 million workers in the process of doing that. So now knowing that, understanding that even if you're not in a union, strong unions benefit you as a worker, what's Bernie's approach to this workplace democracy plan? So he tweeted this out. Democracy doesn't just mean the chance to vote, it means control over your life. To be a truly democratic society, we must create an economy where workers feel that they are not just a cog in the machine, but that they have power over their jobs and workplaces. And that's what Bernie's plan aims to do. So to give you kind of a wide overview of what's in the plan, Bernie Sanders' senior advisor Warren Gunnels tweeted this out. Bernie Sanders' historic pro-union plan doubles union workers, gives workers the right to strike, provides workers the freedom to negotiate, raises wages across industries, protects pensions, ends contracts to union busters, and ends right to work. So again, that's just a general overview. There are so many details to this plan. I'll link to it below the video so you can read through it yourself. But let me pull out just a few examples here of what Bernie's plan does. So it denies federal contracts to employers that pay poverty wages, outsource jobs overseas, engage in union busting, deny good benefits, and pay CEOs outrageous compensation packages. When Bernie is president, he will issue an executive order to prevent companies from receiving federal contracts that outsource jobs overseas, pay workers less than $15 an hour without benefits, refuse to remain neutral in union organizing efforts, pay executives over 150 times more than average workers, hire workers to replace striking workers, or close businesses after workers vote to unionize. It also creates a sectoral collective bargaining system with wage boards to set minimum standards across industries. So when Bernie is president, he will work with the trade union movement to establish a sectoral collective bargaining system that will work to set wages, benefits, and hours across entire industries, not just employer by employer. In addition, under his plan, all cities, counties, and other local jurisdictions would have the freedom to establish their own minimum wage laws and guarantee other minimum standards for workers. And also here, a fair transition to Medicare for all. So this one I found really interesting. Bernie will require that resulting healthcare savings from union negotiated plans will result in wage increases and additional benefits for workers during the transition to Medicare for All. When Medicare for All is signed into law, companies with union negotiated healthcare plans would be required to enter into new contract negotiations overseen by the National Labor Relations Board. Under this plan, all company savings that result from reduced healthcare contributions for Medicare for All will accrue equitably to workers in the form of increased wages or other benefits. Furthermore, the plan will ensure that union-sponsored clinics and other providers are integrated within the Medicare for All system and kept available for members. Unions will still be able to negotiate for and provide wraparound services and other coverage not duplicative of the benefits established under Medicare for All. So, just a few examples there out of the Workplace Democracy Plan, but this last one interests me personally because I talk about healthcare a lot as a Canadian. This is a talking point that Biden and other candidates have been using against Medicare for All. Well, if you institute Medicare for All, how about all these unions that fought for their healthcare benefits? First of all, even without this language in Bernie's workplace bill, obviously unions would now be freed up to fight for other things, higher wages, benefits. So the idea that you're taking away no, you are guaranteeing everyone health care. You are freeing companies up and small businesses up from having to guarantee health care to the workers. And on top of that, you're now freeing unions up to fight for other things. But now this language is actually in Bernie's bill. So if you are in a company, if you're in a union where you have health care guaranteed to you, the company savings that is resulting from them no longer having to guarantee you that healthcare, that company savings now has to be put towards something else, like higher wages. So no more dumb talking points about how Medicare for All takes away union healthcare, because this would have a massively positive impact on people that are in unions. You would get higher wages or other benefits resulting from the company saving from not having to guarantee you healthcare. Now, this plan, just to give you an example of how popular it is already, his plan already has a major endorsement. So this from Mary Kay Henry, the international president of the 2 million member Service Employees International Union. Great to see Bernie Sanders' strong plan to overhaul our defective and outdated labor laws. This proposal is the latest sign 2020 candidates can't ignore millions of workers demanding leaders rewrite the rules so everyone can join a union, no matter where we work. This morning, I'm joining workers in Milwaukee to demand every 2020 candidate release a detailed plan like Bernie Sanders, explaining how they will make it possible for all working people to join unions. This is no time for minor tweaks to our broken system. So, this plan just came out, and it already has a massive endorsement. I mean, there's no discussion here. Bernie is consistently showing why he's the only candidate that you can, first of all, not only trust on these issues because of his long record, 40 years of fighting for the same thing. He has a campaign that only takes money from individual donors. He has the most individual donors by far across the entire country, almost doubling Elizabeth Warren, who's in second place. I mean, Bernie Sanders, whether it's his plan, whether it's his support base, his volunteer base, the energy that's behind his campaign, his consistency, the reality that you can trust him on these issues because he's been fighting for them for so long. And as an independent senator, he doesn't have to answer to either party. Bernie Sanders, I think, is clearly the only choice that voters should be considering.